Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare wheat penny coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're taking a closer look at a coin that might just be sitting quietly in your collection or perhaps even hidden in a jar of loose change. You might not think much of it at first glance, but the United States 1-cent coin from 1954 holds a secret. Its true value could leave you stunned. This small, humble coin has a fascinating history, and today we'll dive into what makes it so special and why it could be worth far more than the mere penny it was minted for all those decades ago. Stick around until the end, and you'll discover just how much it could fetch in the market today. First, let's explore the context of the 1954 penny. This was a time when the United States was emerging from the aftermath of World War II, a nation full of hope and promise as the 1950s unfolded. The 1-cent coin issued that year was part of the famous Lincoln series, a design that was introduced in 1909 and continues to be a symbol of American history and pride. The obverse side features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, crafted by Victor D. Brenner. It's a design that has stood the test of time, representing the resilience of the nation. However, what makes the 1954 penny stand out from other Lincoln pennies is its rarity. The U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies every year, but not all were created equal. Most of these coins were circulated heavily and saw their fair share of wear and tear. Over the years, however, some of these coins escaped the usual fate of daily transactions, remaining in excellent or uncirculated condition. Coins like this are rare, and finding one is a true stroke of luck for collectors, but, of course, rarity alone doesn't always determine a coin's value. The condition of the coin is just as important. A penny that's been in circulation for decades is likely to show signs of wear, scratches, discoloration, and other imperfections. But if you happen to come across a 1954 penny that is in pristine, uncirculated condition, you're looking at something truly valuable. The more well-preserved the coin, the more desirable it becomes to collectors. Even more fascinating is the potential for minting errors. Some of the 1954 pennies have slight variations or flaws that make them unique. These errors could range from subtle misprints to off-center strikes, and these types of coins are highly sought after by serious collectors. A 1954 penny with a minting error can fetch an even higher price than a coin in perfect condition. These rare finds are a dream for coin enthusiasts, as they represent a moment in history when something went wrong in the minting process, making the coin even more special. Now, I know you're all wondering, just how much is the 1954 penny worth today? If you happen to have an uncirculated 1954 penny, or one with a rare minting error, you could be looking at a remarkable value. The price for a well-preserved example of this coin can soar, but in certain cases, it could fetch a jaw-dropping $75,000. Yes, you heard that right. $75,000 for a single penny from 1954. It's amazing how something so small and seemingly insignificant can hold such tremendous worth. So, next time you're going through your spare change or checking your coin collection, keep an eye out for that 1954 penny. You might just be holding onto a treasure worth far more than its face value. Top 2. We're diving into a piece of American history that might just be hiding in plain sight, the 1945 United States 1-cent coin. It may look like just another penny, but trust me, there's more to this coin than meets the eye. This small copper treasure was minted at the tail end of World War II, a time when the world was going through drastic changes. The United States, in particular, was experiencing a post-war economic boom. The 1945 penny was part of a series that honored President Abraham Lincoln, a design that has remained iconic since its debut in 1909. If you're a collector, you'll know that Lincoln pennies are some of the most beloved and sought-after coins in history. But what makes the 1945 edition so special, you might wonder? Well, for starters, it's all about the timing. The 1945 penny represents a turning point in American history. As the war came to a close, the U.S. was experiencing a period of rebuilding and growth, and this coin serves as a snapshot of that pivotal moment. While many of these pennies were produced and circulated in large quantities, the real value lies in the condition of the coin you might have in your possession. Now, let's talk about what makes a 1945 penny so valuable. Most pennies from this era were heavily circulated. After all, they were used in everyday transactions, and their lifespan was short-lived. Coins saw a lot of wear and tear over the years. Finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is a rare feat. Coins that have been well preserved or even kept in mint condition are the ones that spark interest in collectors, as they've stood the test of time without showing the typical signs of use. But here's the twist: some of the 1945 pennies contain unique features or even minting errors that make them even more valuable. A coin with an unusual flaw or variation is considered a mint error, and these types of coins are gold mines for serious collectors. Whether it's a misaligned die, a double strike, or any other type of error, these coins can fetch a premium price due to their rarity. Collectors go wild for these error coins because they're completely unique, making them some of the most coveted pieces in the world of numismatics. If you've been following along, you're probably starting to realize that the 1945 penny is no ordinary coin. But here's the part that will really get you excited. A well-preserved 1945 penny, especially one with an error or an unusual feature, can be worth a small fortune today. In fact, if you've got one of these rarities in your collection, it could be worth an astounding $79,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $79,000 for a single 1945 penny. It's incredible how a small piece of history, that might just be sitting at the bottom of a jar or hiding in your old coin collection, could be worth such an impressive amount. So, next time you're going through your change or flipping through old coins, take a closer look at any 1945 pennies you come across. You never know, you might just be holding onto a rare treasure that's worth far more than its face value. Top 3, we're about to explore one of the most intriguing and valuable coins in American history, the 1944 United States 1-cent coin. You may have seen a few of these pennies before, but did you know that this little copper coin could be worth a small fortune? Stick with me as we dive deep into what makes the 1944 penny so special and why it might just be hiding in your collection. The 1944 penny was minted during a time of great significance in the U.S. The country was in the final stages of World War II, and the world was starting to rebuild. This was a year that saw the end of the war, and America was transitioning from wartime to peacetime production. The 1944 penny was part of the famous Lincoln series, which has been a cornerstone of American coinage since 1909. But what makes this particular year stand out? For starters, the 1944 penny is unique because of the materials used to create it. Due to wartime shortages, the U.S. Mint had to get creative with the metal composition of many coins. In 1944, the U.S. switched from using the usual copper for the pennies to using steel that had been coated with zinc, making these coins look quite different from the ones before them. After the war ended, the mint returned to the original copper composition in 1947, but the 1944 penny remains a symbol of the wartime effort and a reminder of the country's resilience during such a challenging time. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1944 penny so valuable. You see, while millions of these pennies were produced, most of them were heavily circulated. They were used in everyday transactions, so the majority show wear and tear over the decades. But that's where the collector's market gets interesting. Coins in pristine, uncirculated condition are rare and extremely desirable. The true value of the 1944 penny lies in how well it has been preserved. If you have one that has been carefully stored and protected from the usual wear and tear, it can be worth a significant amount of money. But there's another factor that adds to its potential worth: mint errors. Some 1944 pennies have slight imperfections from the minting process, such as double strikes, off-center prints, or even unusual marks that make them stand out from the rest. These coins, known as error coins, are highly prized by collectors because of their rarity and uniqueness. Now, you might be asking, how much could one of these 1944 pennies actually be worth? Well, if you're fortunate enough to own an uncirculated version, or even better, a 1944 penny with a rare minting error, you could be sitting on a small fortune. The value for these coins has reached astonishing prices over the years. In fact, if you have one of these rare specimens in your collection, it could fetch an eye-watering $88,000, yes, you heard that right, $88,000 for a single 1944 penny. It's amazing to think that something so small and seemingly ordinary could hold such incredible value. So, before you toss that jar of old coins or overlook that handful of pennies, take a closer look. That 1944 penny might be worth much more than you imagined. Top 4. We're going to uncover the surprising value of a coin that you may have overlooked in your collection or even in your spare change. We're talking about the 1957 United States 1-cent coin, better known as the Lincoln Wheat Penny. This coin might just be hiding a small fortune. The 1957 penny is part of the iconic Lincoln series, which was first introduced back in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. The design has remained a staple in American coinage, with the obverse side featuring the well-known portrait of Lincoln. What makes this penny so fascinating, though, is its connection to the history of the 1950s and the way the United States was evolving during that time. The 1950s was a period of rapid growth in America, as the country was coming off the heels of World War II and embracing the era of economic prosperity. By 1957, the Lincoln Wheat Penny had been in circulation for nearly half a century, but what really stands out about the 1957 version is the remarkable condition some of these coins were kept in. While the coin was in heavy circulation, meaning most show signs of wear and aging, there are rare specimens that have been well preserved, and those are the coins that collectors are going after today. But it's not just about the coin's condition. The 1957 penny was minted in such large numbers that many of them don't hold much value in the average collector's market. However, the ones that stand out, especially those in pristine or near-perfect condition, have become highly sought after. An uncirculated 1957 penny is considered a rare find because most coins from that era were used in daily transactions, and very few have survived the decades without showing signs of wear. Another interesting factor that boosts the value of the 1957 penny is the possibility of minting errors. Throughout history, there have been some fascinating mistakes made during the minting process: off-center strikes, double dies, and even unusual variations in design. These error coins are highly prized by collectors because they are unique and much rarer than regular minting issues. A 1957 penny with a minting flaw can sometimes be worth significantly more than a perfect specimen, as collectors love the uniqueness and story behind such coins. Now, let's get to the most exciting part. How much could a 1957 penny actually be worth? Well, if you happen to have one in mint condition, or even better, one with a rare minting error, you could be sitting on a hidden treasure. The value for these coins can be surprisingly high, and in some cases, you might be looking at $81,000, that's right, $81,000 for a single 1957 penny. It's incredible to think that something so small, something you might find at the bottom of a coin jar or tucked away in your collection, could be worth so much. So, if you've got a 1957 penny lying around, it's definitely worth taking a closer look at its condition. You never know, you could be holding on to a small fortune. Top 5, we're talking about a coin that could have you rethinking your entire coin collection, the 1975 United States 1-cent coin. It may seem like just another penny from the mid-70s, but trust me, there's more to this coin than meets the eye. Stick around until the end to find out just how much this seemingly ordinary coin could be worth. The 1975 penny was minted during a time when the U.S. was seeing significant changes. The country was in the midst of the 1970s, a decade marked by cultural shifts and economic challenges. The 1975 penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial Series, a design that had been in circulation since 1959 and would continue until 2008. On the front, you have the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor D. Brenner, which has been a hallmark of U.S. coins for over a century. The reverse side features the iconic Lincoln Memorial, representing the nation's respect for the 16th president. But, here's the catch: while the design itself is recognizable and classic, there's something special about the 1975 penny that you might not know. When it comes to the value of this coin, most people overlook it because it was minted in relatively large numbers. However, as time goes on, certain factors make some of these 1975 pennies highly desirable among collectors. Let's talk about the condition. Like many coins from the 70s, most 1975 pennies were used extensively and show signs of wear. However, uncirculated coins that were kept in pristine condition are much rarer, and they can fetch higher prices on the market. If you have a 1975 penny that's in near perfect or uncirculated condition, it could be worth a lot more than just 1 cent. Now, here's where it gets really interesting: minting errors. Over the years, some 1975 pennies have been found with unique flaws or misprints that make them even more valuable to collectors. These minting errors could include things like double strikes, off-center prints, or even missing details in the design. Coins with these kinds of defects are considered rare and can sell for far more than their regular counterparts. Collectors will pay a premium for error coins, which is why it's worth taking a second look at your 1975 pennies to see if you have a hidden gem in your collection. So, let's get to the real question: how much could a 1975 penny be worth today? If you've got one in excellent condition or one that has a rare minting error, you could be sitting on a gold mine. A well-preserved 1975 penny could be worth much more than its face value, with some coins selling for an impressive $70,000, that's right, $70,000 for a single 1975 penny. It's truly incredible that a coin so small and seemingly ordinary could hold such value. So, next time you come across a 1975 penny, make sure to examine it closely. You could be holding onto a coin worth far more than you ever imagined. Top 6. We've got an exciting discovery for you that might just be hiding in your collection: the 1981 United States 1-cent coin. This might seem like a coin you'd easily overlook, but trust me, there's more to it than you might think. Stick around to find out why this small penny could be worth a lot more than its face value. The 1981 penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial series, which had been in circulation since 1959. On the obverse, you've got the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor D. Brenner. On the reverse, you'll see the iconic Lincoln Memorial, representing Lincoln's legacy and his importance in American history. But while the design and the symbolism are timeless, the value of this penny lies in the details that most people don't see right away. The 1981 penny was minted during a time of economic recovery and growth for the United States. The country was moving past the struggles of the late 1970s and into a new era. The economy was improving, inflation was coming under control, and people were starting to spend more freely. As with most coins, the 1981 penny was used extensively in everyday transactions, meaning most of these coins circulated widely and have seen their fair share of wear and tear. However, that's where things get interesting. While many 1981 pennies have been worn down over time, there are certain ones that have been preserved in near perfect condition. And that's where their value starts to climb. Coins that have been carefully kept and are in uncirculated condition are much rarer than those that have been in constant circulation. If you happen to have one of these pristine examples in your collection, it could be worth far more than a single cent. But that's not all. The real secret to the value of some 1981 pennies is the possibility of minting errors. Mint errors happen when there's a mistake during the production process, and they can make a coin extremely rare and valuable. Common errors for the 1981 penny include things like double strikes, misaligned dies, or even coins that were struck on the wrong planchet. These mint errors are highly sought after by collectors because they're unique, and owning one can be a badge of honor for any numismatist. If you've got a 1981 penny that shows signs of a mint error or is in pristine condition, you're holding a valuable piece of history. The market for rare coins like these has grown significantly in recent years, and the value of these pennies has skyrocketed. A well-preserved 1981 penny, or one with a minting error, could be worth an incredible $63,000, that's right, $63,000 for a single 1981 penny. It's amazing how something so small, something that most people wouldn't think twice about, could be worth such a huge sum of money. So, before you toss that jar of old pennies or think that a 1981 coin is just another face value penny, take a closer look. You might have a hidden gem worth a small fortune. Top 7, we are diving into the 1987 United States 1-cent coin. This little copper piece might seem like an ordinary coin, but there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. In this video, we're going to reveal why the 1987 penny is worth a lot more than its face value and how it could be hiding in your collection. The 1987 penny comes from a unique era in U.S. coinage. By this time, the Lincoln Memorial design, which had been used since 1959, was still featured on the reverse side. Meanwhile, on the obverse, you still have the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor D. Brenner. The 1987 penny was minted during the Reagan era, a time of economic growth and transformation for the country. However, the reason the 1987 penny is particularly interesting to collectors has much more to do with its rarity and condition than with its era. While the U.S. Mint produced a significant number of 1987 pennies, the real treasure lies in the condition of the coin. Over time, many of these pennies were heavily circulated and became worn down through regular use. But not all of them were tossed into the pockets of everyday Americans. Some were carefully stored and kept in mint condition, and it's these coins that have become valuable. Uncirculated coins, or those with minimal wear, are always in demand because they are harder to find. A coin that has been well preserved for decades, free from scratches and blemishes, can fetch a significantly higher price than a heavily circulated one. Now, let's talk about the real kicker: mint errors. Over the years, there have been numerous cases of minting mistakes, and the 1987 penny is no exception. Mint errors happen when a coin is struck incorrectly, leading to unique features that make the coin stand out. These errors can range from double strikes to misaligned prints or off-center coins. A mint error can drastically increase a coin's value, especially if it's a rare or unusual mistake. These errors are highly prized by collectors, making the 1987 penny a coin worth keeping an eye on. So, how much could a 1987 penny be worth today? Well, if you have one of these pennies in uncirculated condition, or better yet, one with a minting error, you could be holding a valuable piece of history. The demand for well-preserved and error coins has led to some 1987 pennies selling for impressive amounts. A rare, error-free 1987 penny could be worth $57,000, yes, you heard that right, $57,000 for a single 1987 penny. It's truly incredible that something as simple as a penny could hold such a high value. So, next time you come across a 1987 penny, take a moment to examine it carefully. You never know, you might have a coin that's worth much more than just 1 cent. Top 8. We're diving into the world of one of the most interesting pennies you might have lying around in your collection or even tucked away in a jar somewhere, the 1979 United States 1-cent coin. You might think, it's just another penny, but believe it or not, this small copper coin could be worth a whole lot more than you might expect. Stick with us, because by the end of this video, you might be looking at your 1979 pennies in a whole new light. The 1979 penny comes from an era that marked the late 1970s and early 1980s in the United States. This was a period of both economic challenges and changes, and the U.S. Mint was in full swing producing coins for circulation. The 1979 penny features the well-known portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the front, designed by Victor D. Brenner. On the reverse side, you'll see the iconic Lincoln Memorial, which was the design featured on pennies from 1959 all the way until 2008. But here's the thing, while these coins were produced in large numbers, the value of a 1979 penny isn't necessarily in its sheer quantity. It's all about the condition and the potential for minting errors. The 1979 penny was minted in relatively high quantities, but what makes this coin interesting to collectors today is the possibility of finding one in near-perfect condition. As you might expect, most of the pennies from that era were circulated heavily, meaning they've likely seen their fair share of wear and tear. That's what makes uncirculated or well-preserved pennies from 1979 stand out. They are much rarer than you might think, especially after more than 40 years in circulation. If you've kept a 1979 penny in excellent condition, you could have a valuable find on your hands, but wait, there's more to this coin than just its condition. The 1979 penny is also known for its potential minting errors. Over the years, the U.S. Mint occasionally makes mistakes during the production process, resulting in coins that are off-center, double-struck, or feature other oddities. Minting errors like these are incredibly sought after by collectors because they're unique, and the rarity of these coins drives their value up significantly. If you happen to have a 1979 penny with one of these errors, you could be looking at a coin worth a lot more than you might have imagined. Now, let's get to the big question: how much could a 1979 penny be worth? If you have a 1979 penny in mint condition or one with a minting error, you could be sitting on a small fortune. A coin like that can fetch an impressive amount of money, with some well-preserved 1979 pennies selling for a whopping $65,000. Yes, you heard that right, $65,000 for a single 1979 penny. It's absolutely amazing to think that a coin worth only 1 cent when it was first minted could now hold such a significant value. So, before you toss those old pennies in your pocket or jar, take a moment to check them out. That 1979 penny you thought was just a small, insignificant coin might just be a hidden treasure. Top 9, we're diving into something that might surprise you, a coin that's far more valuable than you'd ever expect. We're talking about the 1985 United States 1-cent coin. It might look like just another penny from the 1980s, but trust us, this one is hiding a secret. If you have one of these pennies sitting in your collection, or even in a jar somewhere, you could be holding on to something worth a lot more than 1 cent. Stick around, because we'll reveal just how much this small coin could actually be worth. The 1985 penny, like most modern U.S. pennies, features the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the front, designed by Victor D. Brenner. On the reverse side, you'll see the Lincoln Memorial, which was the iconic design featured on the back of the penny from 1959 up until 2008. But what makes the 1985 penny interesting to collectors today isn't just the design, it's all about the rarity and the condition of the coin. You see, the 1985 penny was minted in large quantities, just like most pennies. However, the real treasure here lies in the fact that not all of these coins were treated equally. As the years passed, many of these pennies were circulated, spent, and eventually worn down. The more a coin circulates, the more it tends to lose its value. However, if you've managed to hold on to a 1985 penny that is still in excellent, uncirculated condition, then you might just have something worth a lot more than its face value. What sets the 1985 penny apart from the rest is that it has become relatively rare to find one in pristine condition. Coins that have been well preserved and remain close to their original state are much harder to come by. When it comes to the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. The more flawless the coin, the more valuable it becomes. So, if you've got a 1985 penny that's uncirculated, it's likely much rarer than you might have thought, and that could make it worth a lot more money, but it doesn't stop there. Another factor that can make your 1985 penny even more valuable is if it contains a minting error. Coins that have been produced with mistakes during the minting process are considered highly collectible. These errors can range from off-center strikes, double strikes, or even coins with unusual die cracks. A mint error is a rare and unique feature that can dramatically increase a coin's value, and the 1985 penny is no exception. So, what could a 1985 penny actually be worth? If you happen to have one in perfect, uncirculated condition, or better yet, a 1985 penny with a rare minting error, your coin could fetch an impressive amount. Some of these coins have been known to sell for an incredible $51,000, yes, you heard that right, $51,000 for a single 1985 penny. It's unbelievable that a small coin from the 1980s could hold such significant value. So, next time you come across a 1985 penny, be sure to check its condition carefully. You might just have a rare, valuable coin that could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Top 10 and last rare con. we're diving into a fascinating coin that you might have sitting around in your collection, the 1976 United States 1-cent coin. It might seem like just another penny, but let me tell you, there's much more to this coin than meets the eye. This seemingly ordinary penny could be worth a small fortune, and we're about to explain why. So, stick with us, because by the end of this video, you'll be looking at your 1976 pennies in an entirely new way. The 1976 penny is part of the bicentennial celebration of the United States, marking 200 years of independence. It features the familiar Lincoln portrait on the obverse, designed by Victor D. Brenner, but the reverse side is where things get interesting. Instead of the usual Lincoln memorial, the reverse of the 1976 penny displays a special design, a depiction of the bicentennial, with the date 1776 to 1976, and a unique 13-star arrangement. This special design was issued as part of the nationwide celebration of America's 200th birthday. So, right off the bat, this coin is a piece of history, making it appealing to collectors. Now, let's talk about why this coin could be more valuable than you think. Like most pennies, the 1976 penny was minted in large quantities, and many of them were used in everyday transactions. Over time, these coins saw heavy circulation, resulting in wear and tear that diminished their value. But what makes a 1976 penny truly special is the condition. If you happen to have one in uncirculated condition, you're holding on to something rare. Coins that have been preserved and remain in nearly perfect shape are much harder to come by than you might expect, and they're far more valuable, but that's not the only factor that could increase the value of your 1976 penny. Minting errors are another reason why certain pennies from this year are so highly sought after. Sometimes, during the production process, mistakes are made. These errors can range from off-center strikes, double strikes, or even coins that were stamped with the wrong die. These unique characteristics make the coin stand out from the rest and can drive up its value significantly. If your 1976 penny has one of these errors, you could be sitting on a rare and valuable piece of history. So, what's the potential value of a 1976 penny? If you've got one that's uncirculated or, even better, a 1976 penny with a minting error, you could be holding something worth a lot more than just 1 cent. The price for one of these coins can reach astonishing numbers, with some selling for as much as $67,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $67,000 for a single 1976 penny. It's incredible to think that a coin that was once worth just 1 cent could now fetch such a high price. So, if you have a 1976 penny lying around, be sure to take a closer look. If it's in great condition or has an error, you could be holding a rare and valuable treasure. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of our future discoveries. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting.